Hi guys, it's Chantal with Wild Berry Quilting, and today we are doing part 2 of the Bobbins and Blooms quilt along. So let's get started. All right, so now we are attaching the stems to our leaves like this. I went out to the bowling alley this weekend. We were celebrating my son's birthday, and it was a lot of fun, but I only got to bowl one of the games that we played because the one bowling lane that we were on, it kept, oh boy, this is a whole story. Let me tell you, the one lane that they put us on, the balls kept jamming at the end of the lane, and we kept having to go up there and tell them that the ball had jammed and have them call back to the back and have them unjam it. And this happened 3 times within probably about 5 minutes. Maybe 10 minutes. It was just a very short amount of time. It was within like 3 people bowling, because it happened to me and then it happened to, no, maybe it was, I don't know. It was very repetitive. It kept doing that. So we asked them if we could move to a different lane, and they were really good about it. They obliged and they moved us down a lane. And but the problem was that the balls that we were using, they did not unjam them when they moved us down a lane. So they were still stuck at the back. And we had to go and look for new balls to use. And there just were not that many of the lighter balls. Most of them were like 12 or more pounds. And I typically bowl with like an 8-pound ball. I don't go bowling very often, so, you know, I don't have those muscles built up for bowling. I do terrible. I really am like one of the worst bowlers ever. All right, now we are just joining the leaf to the other side. So they ended up moving us down, and the balls were not moved down with us because they were still stuck at the back. And I tried walking around and looking and finding other size 8-pound bowling balls, because that's what size I need, and that's what size some of the older kids need. And I only managed to find one, so I let the kids have it. And I figured, I found a 10, and I figured, okay, well, I'll go ahead and try to bowl with the 10. And hopefully it won't be too bad. Well, I only rolled that ball twice. And after the second time, my finger hurt really bad. And I was like, I thought, oh man, I must have hurt it somehow while doing that. It wasn't something where it was automatic to where I knew what it was that caused it. It wasn't where I could say, okay, my finger got stuck in there, or I hit it on the side, or anything like that. It was just, I got done bowling that frame and my finger hurt. And I was like, I must have gotten it just a little bit. But then it really, really started hurting. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? So I ended up looking at my finger a little bit closer, and it is like all purple. Like you can't even see it that well, I don't think. I don't know. But it's like purple all from here to here. And oh my gosh, it's just, it's very sore to touch in that spot. Thankfully, it doesn't affect the tips of my, or the tip of my thumb. So I can still cross stitch, but I have to be really careful with, touching the frame or anything else. And I don't think I'm up to cross stitching any of the printed canvases because those ones tend to take a little bit more strength to push the needle through. And I think that would hurt it. So right now I'm just stitching on the softer, you know, counted cross stitch charts that I'm working on. So, but that was my harrowing experience. And thankfully it doesn't hurt to bend it down. It just hurts to like extend it back. But so it could be worse. All right. Now we have our flower stems and our flower heads, and we are going to combine them just like this. Now, I'm really hopeful I'm not going to have any problems with this because I trimmed the flower heads, but I did not trim the stems. And I know that this is something I should do, but with my thumb being the way that it is, I can't really use the rotary cutter right now. So I am going to try to make it work without trimming like I should. So wish me luck. I know I'm going to have to trim them afterwards, but I think this may just have to be a shorter video this time. And then I will do a little bit longer one the next time once my thumb is a little bit more healed and I'm able to go through and do all of the necessary trimming. Then I'll go through and finish up the rest of the video. But I want to be able to get part of this out to you guys and not make you wait too long for it, because I know our next sewsampler box is coming up soon, and I'd like to be close to finished with this so that I'll be able to start on that next one. And in case you're wondering how I'm doing this to try to get it as even as possible, I'm not lining it up from the side since I know this one's going to be longer because I haven't trimmed it. I'm just trying to match up the center of where my flower is with the center of my stem. And, some of them might come out a little bit better than others, but I'm hoping this will give me a fairly, something that's fairly reasonable that I can work with and then trim down later. It seems like the biggest issue is just going to be anywhere where it's not quite even on this side from not, squaring it up. But it is what it is, and we got to work with what we've got, right? So I'm not going to complain about it. My thumb could certainly be a lot worse off than what it is. I'm grateful that it's not. So, honestly, I'm grateful that for the most part, I can still sew and I can still cross stitch. And I think that's pretty fortunate considering how I got myself. Still not quite sure what exactly I did to cause it to happen, but you know, I'm not a good bowler, so maybe bowling just is not something I should be doing. And the thing is that there's a good chance we might end up going bowling again sometime soon because we still have to do another child's birthday celebration. And that one wants bowling too. So, you know, I don't think I told my husband if I'm not healed up by then, I'll probably just bring my cross stitch with me and everybody else can bowl. I'll just kind of hang out and serve up the pizza and stuff. At least I can still be useful. And if I bring my cross stitch stuff, I can still enjoy myself. So everybody else will be having fun and I'll be having fun too. I can be their cheerleader. All right, looks like this is the last one. Man, I really love this quilt. This is going to be so beautiful. I am, when I started on this, I was like, I definitely want to keep this quilt. And I still want to keep this quilt, but there's a chance that someone I know might need a quilt around this size. So I'm not decided for sure yet whether I'm going to keep it or give it to them. It's hard to say. All right, so now we have these beautiful flowers and we are going to be putting them together with our bobbins. All right, this one's going to be slightly more tricky to get to line up correctly because it's got to line up with that top one, which it's not near. So wish me luck, guys. I hope this cooperates well. Oh my gosh. That didn't want to cooperate though. Got to be so careful with how I do things with that thumb though, because it's right so close to where I apply pressure whenever I'm doing something. And it's weird because I'm naturally inclined that since it is injured, I want to grab things lower on it to protect the tip, like it's the tip that's injured, but it's not. It's like I have to do counter to what my instincts tell me. I have to baby it the opposite of how my instincts tell me to, which is not easy to do. And there goes the ice maker. I hope that running doesn't bother you guys too much. I normally try to turn it off, but I know everybody wants ice for their drinks tonight. So I'm trying to let it run so that it won't, everybody will still be able to have ice in their drinks. That's what that sound is, though. Sometimes I let it run because of that, even while I'm recording, and sometimes I just forget to turn it off. I'm so used to the noise that it makes that I don't always notice it's on, and it's sitting there running like that. So I apologize anytime you guys hear that in there, and I hope it's not too distracting. Yeah, just make sure when you're going through and attaching these bobbins to the bottom of your flowers that you plan out how you want to match up the flowers to the bobbins, because you're making them with the same fabrics. So potentially you could end up with the same flower on top as you have bobbin on the bottom, which, I mean, that could be really cute. And if that's what you want, go for it. But I was trying to make mine look different. So I went through and I tried to make my stacks, pre-plan my stacks. I got all of them with a different color, except for I think the one pink ended up with that kind of peachy color stripe. So it's very similar, but at least it's still a different print. That was the first one that I did though, so I can't show you that one anymore. That's what I started out with. Alright, I'm trying to get this to line up. I'm trying my best to pay attention to where it fell on the attaching the flower top to the leaves. That way I can kind of hopefully end somewhat near the same place and not end up with it way longer on one side and way shorter on the other side, because that makes trimming difficult. If that happens, sometimes you have to go back and pick it and restitch it, and I would like to avoid that happening. So I'm going to do my best to just, this one looks like it's pretty close to the middle, so I'm just going to get it as centered as I possibly can. Hope for the best. That's all we can do, right? Is hope for the best. I mean, we could spend hours planning things out, but where's the fun in that? Sometimes it's more fun to just go for it, and I think there's already enough planning with making a quilt and all the cutting and everything that goes into it. So that, and I can't really trim it down to make it fit perfect right now. So I'm just going to pretend that it was a choice. When really it wasn't. It was just me not being able to do it. So, but still wanting to sew it. So yeah, it is what it is. Oh goodness, that's getting heavy on that finger. Move this over here. Try and use my finger in such a way that I'm not putting too much weight on that part of it. All right, so we're done with putting together those. I'm going to zoom you out so you can see it. And I think we're going to stop there for today. I know it wasn't a very long video. I'm sorry. We will finish this up though. So once my thumb heals a little bit and I can trim all of this to its proper proportions, I want to make sure that the quilt comes out correctly. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys had fun. Please remember to hit like and subscribe. I will link Fat Quarter Shop down in the description box. That's where I got this. It came from the sewsampler box. It's a lot of fun getting it each month, and our next one's coming up soon. So make sure that you are subscribed and you hit the bell notification so you can see when that comes out or when I upload the unboxing. I'll see you guys later. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.